So introduce me to KISS.
All right, man. So KISS is a concept. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I heard it when I was younger. But like where it really stuck at was or where it really really hit me at was in the military. Keep it simple, stupid. And I was listening to a podcast by Eric Thomas, and he was doing a speech at a college, and he was saying how the simplistic. We try to be deep. You know what I mean? Whether it be talking to people because we want people to think like we're super deep or whatever, we're super smart, we're competent, basically. And he was like, when you understand something, you could break it down to its simplest form. And when you try to explain something that you don't understand, that's when you mess up. You know what I mean? We all done been in a situation where we're like, all right, my man trying too hard. You know what I'm saying? And when I was on the range, the range instructor, he broke it down so simple, man. It's like every concept, whether it be the shotgun, the AR, the handgun, he broke it down super simple. He like, this is a handgun. This is the magazine. He just went through the whole steps. And it's funny, but it's like, at the end of the day, he got his point across. And even this little course I'm going through at the moment, man, it's like our instructor is like, it's super simple and it feel like it's like not effective. You know what I mean? Because whether we used to a more like strict environment or whatever the case may be, it's so simple that it's like at the end of the day he really getting his point across. So it's like keep it simple, stupid. As long as you hitting the basics, as long as you hit the foundational pieces, everything else you'll learn along the way. But if you got those main foundational steps, then everything else can be built on top of it.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. I appreciate you, man, dropping that info on me. I got a question for you, man. So I was doing some thinking. I actually heard something on the radio, and it just really got my wheel turning. So one of the questions was like, it was concerning the past and the present, and like when you smash those together, like what do you get? When you get a mixture of the past and then you get a mixture of the present, like what do you get? Like,
oh, you asking?
I'm asking. Yeah.
Oh, mixture of the past, mixture of the present. I think you get somebody like that could be well versed. You know what I mean? Like a little bit of both. So I think it's like it makes you more experienced.
Okay, so what would be a well versed person that's blended with the past and the present? What does that person look like?
Think like people that like younger kids that grew up with their grandparents, or like younger kids that grew up raised by their grandparents.
How do those people sound?
They sound. You think like they older people, like man.
So those the ones that got an old soul.
Right.
Word.
It's like man,
you've been here before.
Right.
Like
you can really feel that, man, from them people.
Okay.
That's it's funny, man. Oh, go ahead. I ain't gonna cut you off.
No, you go ahead. What was you about to say?
The new generation has knowledge, but our parents have experience. That's what comes to mind when you say that. And it's like I think when you blend the two, because the present has more knowledge as far as new technology being involved, like phones and stuff like that. But our parents have experience. So it's all if I could break it down like an analogy, like our parents was in a generation that was building the technology that we use now. So while they may not know how to use it, they know everything that's inside of it. If that makes sense.
That's interesting. How can you have? Say that one more time to me.
How
did you start this off?
I said the new generation has knowledge, but our parents have experience.
Okay. How can you gain knowledge without experience though?
Because you could learn about something but never done it before.
But how? Like what? Okay, what makes that believable?
Like
tangible?
Like in school, right? Like you could go to college and learn how to do your job without doing it before. Or like,
but still, at one point in time, like interns, you still got to get out there and actually do it, right?
Right, but you learn the knowledge before you become an intern.
Okay, you're right. But again, the thing that I want to challenge you to think about for a lot of people, like a child, right?
Right.
So long before you do a lot of things, I'm in a total agreement with you. Long before you do a lot of things, you hear about it, and people. Like even if it feels like they force feeding you information, they're gonna get that. They're gonna get that to you because a lot of times they don't want you to make the mistake, right? Mm-hmm. So, for example, a hot stove, they tell you, don't touch that stove,
right?
So you like, man, you always saying that. You know what I'm saying? So again, you becoming educated on the stove per se, or are you even educated if you're not even receiving it? Can you be educated if you're not willing to receive something, the information?
That's a good question, man. I wouldn't call it education. I don't know what
Can
word
you even
use.
become knowledgeable if you're not willing to intake it?
That's a good question, man. I don't know the answer to that, man.
Things that make you say,
Right. That's a good question. That's a good one, man.
Yeah, because see that right there, that changes things right there.
It
Because
do.
again, now maybe it takes the experience for you to be willing to accept
Right.
this stove is hot.
Yeah.
Don't touch it. Don't even cook on it no more. You know, now
You
you
telling
scared.
other people. You feel
Exactly.
me?
But it came through experience. But before that, they were telling you,
Right.
don't touch it. But it was personal experience that drew that connection. And, you know, in essence, now all of a sudden nah, that ain't nothing to play with.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
Put on the mittens.
That's right.
You know, like for real, you ain't even playing the radio no more.
Yeah.
Brother got a small throw of everything. No, like
That's real though, man.
Like, yeah. So now with that, you know, let's go back to what you said. How did you start that off?
I said that the new generation has knowledge, but our parents have experience. And for me, I think education is the key to liberation. You know what I mean? And a lot of times we have to get put in situations, or excuse me, I would say some people have to be forced to be educated. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, some people learn by touching the stove, and then they learn to like, okay, maybe I need to listen a little bit more. Some people got to hit their hand a little bit harder, hit their head a little bit harder, and like, yo, I could do it this way. I could figure it out this way. I could do it this way. And that's good on some points, but some points it's not. I guess it's all education, but I don't know. You know
You
what I'm
said
saying?
something that was valuable. You say sometimes certain people have to be forced into it.
Right, 100%.
So when, like, think about this for a moment, if you can. When is the opportunistic time in which people feel forced to have to respond now? Like
Give me an
being
example.
cheated out of something. Somebody
Right.
takes something from you,
Mm-hmm.
and now all of a sudden
Oh,
you
yeah,
can't.
yeah.
And now the carrot that they took from you that's rightfully yours, now they dingling over your head because you are lacking something, a qualification, or you're lacking something in which you know that belongs to you. That's mine. Like
Right.
I got the skills for the job. I know everything, but you're not qualified though.
Right, man. That's true, man. And I'll take it a step further. Like you said, people dangling the carrot above your head. It's like you get charged more than what you should have. You know what I'm saying? And you like, bro, I should have known that, man. But it's like, or it's not even I should have known that. It's like, dang, bro, I can't believe that happened to me, man. Now you like, bro, I got to learn about money. You know what I'm saying? Now I got to learn about negotiation. You know what I mean? So sometimes you force into it that way too.
Or you just being in the environment, you're in an environment in the midst of a building full of so-called smart people. Now they ask you a question.
Oh, yeah, true.
And everybody in the room seems like they know the answer, but they ask you, you sit around there, you perplexed.
Right.
Yeah, what he said was right. Was he really?
Right.
They looking
right.
at you like they want a response from you. Nah, like I said, he was right. No, yeah, explain it.
What was he right about?
I mean, what he said was right.
Yo, for real, bro.
You just need it.
Yep.
Hey, you're like, no, but we're asking now. Now all of a sudden, and you start noticing the more they talk, the more educated you start to realize they are. No, what we're asking you is to, if you can you go ahead into detail and break it down for us so that we understand what it is that you were stating that he's right about.
Now you like,
You know what I'm saying, bro? Like, you heard what homie said. Is like the more you start talking,
Right,
they're looking
bro.
at you like,
Do you
excuse
really know?
me. What school did you say you attend? And then
That's really
it's
how
that
it be,
moment
bro.
right there. Hey, then all of a sudden them droplets start coming.
Oh, yeah. Bro, the pressure on then.
You,
Spotlight.
like, Lord, this thing got hot in this building. Some of y'all ain't got no AC. For
Hey,
real, that's how
bro.
it be, man. Hey.
That's funny, dog. That's the truth.
But yeah, but when them droplets come out, bro, that ain't no hiding that. Now you know you know
forced
you
into it at that
you
point.
know you're done.
Nah,
you're
yeah.
done.
Cooked.
Well, Pressure cooker.
Cooked.
Yes,
man.
sir. Yes,
It's like,
sir.
all right.
Smothered.
Touche.
Smothered neck bones. Well, that brother coming off the bone.
Roasting it.
Really, that's what they do, a roasting.
Yeah, it's fun. I wonder if that where that term came from.
Educated roast, too.
Getting roasted.
Well, I
bro.
promise, it's probably it's nothing worse than you get roast by the homies. But if it's an educated roast, and I'm telling you stewing too.
Oh man, it's
and you can't get
meticulous.
mad either. You can't get mad because now they roasting you by simply asking you questions now that they feel
bro.
you should already know. Oh,
That's all you can say.
Yeah.
That's all you can say, man. Man,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
But hey, then all of a sudden they start asking you questions. Then the question that you know and you would normally know, now you second guessing that stuff. They ask you, they be like, yeah. So what state you say you from? Savannah. All right,
That's
man,
how
I'm
you
done.
know. That's how you know.
Exposed.
Oh, miscombobulated, bruh. You don't know what's going on. You just
You don't even want to be there no more. Brother clicking his shoes together like doggy. You can't go nowhere.
Bro, you a fool, man. That was just so true.
But we ain't even supposed to be laughing this hard. Brother having too much fun.
That's true though.
Yeah,
Bruh.
man.
They be having you, man.
Yeah, boy. you done.
Miscombobulated.
Yes,
dog.
sir. Yes,
That's
sir.
hilarious.
All right, man. We moving along. You know the thing that always attracts me, and I find it very intriguing, right? When I hear this come from the older, the generation that came prior to us,
Right.
like our parents, they always say this, yeah, man, boy, things didn't change so much. Growing up, boy, things were dangerous, but they not like now.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's wicked. The world wicked now, but it's like they parents still so to specify what I'm talking about, our parents would have said the same thing to our parents.
Right. Our grandparents would have said the same thing to our parents.
Yeah.
Right.
Our grandparents would have said the same thing to our parents, and it would have sounded like, yeah, but things ain't like how they used to be when we were coming up. You go outside, man, and you could play all the way until, into the lights, into after dark or whatever, and you ain't got to worry about, Susie May. You mess around and you act up in school. Susie May gonna beat you behind, and then you gonna go home, and then when they find out about it, they gonna get you too. So you might get about 3 of them in the same day. The teacher might get you too. You know what I'm saying? So like you hear about all of that, and then by the time, like, that's what your grandparents say, then your parents telling you about how they came up. And then back in that time, you still had, and this, man, like, this is the thing, man. It's like, we talk about probably about between the 20 and the 30 year time difference.
Right.
You still have what I'm about to call out, but it's in certain places. But here in, in Savannah, it's not as big as it once was, probably in the 80s, early 90s, but like corner stores.
Right.
Or like, like you got that like, a mom's and pop shop type, corner store or whatever, where you can go ahead and you walk out your house and you walk down the street and then you go to the corner store and you got pig feet in the store. You might have, you know what I'm talking about, man.
Bro.
Or you might mess around and have pickled eggs or whatever, man, in the jar, stuff like that, man. What's crazy about that stuff, bro? Like I was talking about
sandwiches.
Yeah, man. The cookies, man. You know them cookies, man, that used to be pink. You know what I'm talking about,
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, like, I don't even know what them joints
The
called,
long
man.
ones.
Yeah, man. But the ones I'm talking about, man, they were almost like circular.
I ain't seen
Yeah,
those.
man, look, man, like they like almost like butter cookies, man, but they were pink. It was more prevalent back then. You would have corner stores like that, and people would know who the store owner is because really he was a part of it, or he or she may have been a part of the community.
Right.
And that community being that particular neighborhood, maybe. you will have, like I said, the corner stores, but then you will also have talks about, like, back in the day, trick-or-treating. All right, be careful now. We need to check that candy, make sure ain't no razors or nothing in the candy.
Oh yeah, my mom did that.
So okay, if your mother did it, then that she was doing it for a reason. Otherwise, she would have never been doing it. What was the reason though? Where did that come from?
Right.
It would have had to have came from her generation still, right? So
Yeah.
it had to, for her to feel like I need to check this candy. Maybe, just maybe, that was something that was introduced to her through her generation or the generation before. My thing is, it's just like, we're talking about in the early 90s, mid 90s, grown-ups, parents checking children's candy for raises. Now, I know for a fact now, like, my father spoke about growing up and stuff like that, and the same thing. I came up in a generation in which, man, I remember when I was real little, me physically, I saw Atari. I saw one. Like, I touched one.
Atari with the joystick joint?
Yeah, I touched one when I was little. But again, I didn't really have much of a connection to that.
Right.
Because again, that's still, I would consider that still a little before my time. Now, my connection point, something that I touched, something that was tangible, that I understood and knew what it was, and I yearned to have one, was, I remember when the first Nintendo came out.
Right.
I remember that. I remember growing up, man, you go in like a store, and like the Pac-Man joint, you sitting around there and you playing it like arcade type setup and stuff. Like the world, like,
see, that's
honestly,
because I caught the tail end of Nintendo, like Nintendo 64, and then I remember when they still had their arcade games in Walmart. They used to have it in Walmart, used to have it in Pizza Hut, things like that.
Yeah, it hung around in like Pizza Huts, Godfathers, and stuff like that for a long time. I can remember like Walmarts. Then I can remember, man, you go across town, it's a Kmart, and the rivalry between the two. A lot of people, like, they just know Walmart. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Now we entering into a new phase now, in market.
What does that mean?
Like, in market, the gas station.
Oh yeah, got you.
Before that, it was just in mark.
Yeah, right.
But it's taken and it's evolved.
Right,
in market. I remember the first one that in market.
It was the red one. Inmart was the red one, and now they done did a whole revamp.
Yeah, that what I'm. Yeah, it's grown.
Yeah,
and it's like, man. So I mean, just think about in another 10 to 15 years, if it's still around, what it's going to become. If it has room to grow, then it'll probably be on the scale of like a neighborhood Walmart.
Right.
That's
new.
Yeah, that's
never had a neighborhood Walmart before.
Exactly. But what I'm saying is, it's like, man, things are changing at a rapid, at such a rapid process. It's like, if you're not aware, and not just aware, if you're not focused, man, and you get lost in the present of where you are. With the past, a lot of times we forget where we've come from.
Right.
And if we forget where we come from, then we're not even paying attention to the present, the time period in which we're living in. It becomes a choice on whether or not you choose to become educated. So if you make the choice not to even want to pay attention or become, cognizant of what's going on around you presently, then to be honest with you, you're walking around aimlessly, and then a lot of people, hey, you dumbfounded.
Right.
Caught
off guard by certain
exactly.
Yeah,
when you finally decide you want to wake up,
right,
you know what I'm saying?
Right,
and by the time you wake up, then all of a sudden, it's almost like being in a coma, bro. It's no different than a person that's been in a coma since the 70s, and then they mess around and skip 2 decades, so 80s, 90s, they wake up. And all of a sudden, the world is totally different.
It's 2000.
The styles have changed. You know what I'm saying? When you went down, butterfly collars, you know what I'm saying? Afros, matter of fact, depending on what time in the 70s you went down, the afro may have been big, or it might have been starting to come, you know what I'm saying? Because toward the latter part of the 70s, The afros was coming in a little bit because they was preparing for them Jerry curls. I'm just keeping it a buck.
The Jerry
Yeah, them
curls.
Jerrys, the wet ones. But nah, like
JCs.
that's right. But it's like, think about that though. Think about
What,
that.
the Jerry curl?
No, think about man being asleep for 2 decades.
Oh, right.
Waking up. And
Shoot,
when you went down 8 tracks and stuff out,
Right.
then all of a sudden you wake up. Man, here there's CD players.
I think.
You got,
Oh, go ahead.
I'm saying like CD players that look at the clothing. The clothing changed dramatically in a span of, we talking about 2 decades, bruh.
Yeah.
So 80s, 90s, if you wake up in the 2000s, bruh, like I'm talking, at that time it's baggy jeans, bruh. Baggy, everything big.
Yeah.
Everything big. You know what I'm saying?
Tall
Big or go
tees.
home.
Tall
You know,
tees,
for
all
real.
that, bro.
But
I
you get
remember that.
roasted if you wearing something tight.
The bacon neck. You
Well,
know
look
what
at
I'm
man,
saying?
hey, my white tee, yeah.
Ah, bro, that's when the headbands, the wristbands.
All that,
Man,
man.
that'd be crazy.
Shirt 2 sizes too big. For real. Man, look
crazy,
here.
bro.
We really didn't know our waist size.
That's funny because it's so
Not
true.
until it was time to get a tuxedo.
Yeah, man.
And then at that point, you didn't feel right in the tuxedo pants because you like, bro.
Even then, it was when like the big ones. You know what I'm saying? I remember the Steve Harvey suits, the older ones.
Oh, man.
You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
So it's like that is true though, man. But at the same time though, I feel like you know, at that time you kind of stuck in your style. I mean, you kind of stuck in the present.
That is the present.
You know what I'm saying?
In a sense, yeah, because the present time was that.
Right.
It was like, you know, that it would have looked weird for you to in the 2000s, bro, the early 2000s. It would have looked weird for you to be walking around with a fitted t-shirt.
Right.
You would have looked like you out of the era.
Right.
That's interesting.
It
Think
is
about
dope.
that. That'd be a dope movie, bro, and call that more out of era. Like for real.
But you had that though. Think about Drake, Andre 3000. You know what I'm saying? People
that
were
brother
calling
was
him weird and stuff.
Bro,
You know what I'm
that's
saying?
why. But see, that's why he stuck out.
That's that. I mean, I guess you had those people that push the edge or step outside of the norm. Like, you know, people that had like, okay, let me try some Japanese fashion. Let me try this. Let me try this. Some London fashion. Whoever was exposed. I guess it depends on your exposure too, though. You know what you're exposed to. Because if you only know a certain type of style, that's what you're gonna stick with until you peep something else, and you're like, oh yeah, I kind of rock with that, man. That's dope.
Yeah, but anytime a style change, man, or you get a clash in styles, or like the perspective, what causes a perspective to change is when you get a mogul doing something, or you get a superstar doing something. Like, for
Right.
example, in the early 2000s, to me, one of the pioneers for the baggy wear in the look, man, was AI. Like, man,
Yeah.
AI, bro, he wore the, but again, that was him. He wasn't just like that. That was him. Like during that time period, that brother stayed with something big on, man.
Yeah.
The bigger the better. You know what I'm saying? It is just like, bro, I'm like, yo,
Why is it like that? But where did that come from? When did the baggy stuff start coming out?
I don't know, but he said
know what I'm
he said he was shopping at the big and tall. He said, man, he had dudes on the team getting hot with him because they're like, yo, they can't even, you know what I'm saying? It's already limited. The big and tall section is limited. But that brother's he's shopping and getting his stuff. But that's a trip
funny,
though.
bro.
Like for real. You know it's a limited selection.
But nah, that makes sense. That
Damn.
makes perfect sense, man. That's funny, dog. I wonder where that style originated. You know what I'm saying? Like how it came about. But back to your point of switching it up, like I think you're right. Like a mogul has to probably has to pioneer it first. Like the first person I think of with the tall tees and stuff like that was like groups. Like a lot of groups used to come out, D4L or like Soulja Boy Tell them, things like that.
Well, see, Soulja Boy, I don't even classify him. That's to me, okay, D4L, yeah, but even before D4L, I'm thinking of them franchise boys. You know what I'm saying? Them boys, they lean with it, ride with it. You know what I'm saying? Like
That's
everything was big and just like over the top. You know what I'm saying? Like T-shirts, bro, that women would sleep in and call a nightgown. That's what That's what
I used to do it too.
Yeah, but see, now that you say that, all these groups we calling out, bro, that's South though.
Yeah,
Atlanta.
That's what I'm saying.
So were they doing that stuff up north? Now that's a good question. See, I don't
know,
and I can't even lay claims to even fronting like I know, because I don't know what was going on because I was right in my own compartment, and my compartment was here in the South.
Exactly.
Except for the music though. Like, it's funny, but it's crazy. Now you got me thinking, man, because music videos and stuff was out during that time, so you did have access to what everybody else was doing.
But you look at it weird though. Like, I remember seeing like up north dudes with the tank top on, the do rag, the fitted cap, some Timberlands on. And some shorts.
The Timbo, see, they were gonna always
shorts.
see up,
like, that
see up
weird,
north,
bro.
But see, that brings me to my point. So yeah, at that point in time in the 2000s, everything was big. It was.
They didn't have it on big, but I'm just saying.
I remember they would have on Timbs, bro, with shorts.
Right.
But the shorts was big. The shorts was kind of bloated. Right. Yeah. Everything at that point in time was because we completely dismissed the style of the shorts above the knees, because I remember for a long time the shorts above the knees, that was like my old man in them era. Like
you right,
like you think about it, bro.
I think about the meme with the dude with the collar shirt tucked in and the khaki shorts with a new pass.
I'm saying, like, you think about it though, like,
that's funny.
Real talk.
That's
like when you think about it, and even before AI. Let's talk about before AI played basketball, right? You look at the NBA players, the modern day NBA player during that point in time before AI got into the league. The one person that you would say that kind of changed the game on how, like, the shorts, they weren't quite fitted. Jordan shorts weren't quite fitted. They were
you saying he wasn't super baggy though?
I mean, no. What I'm saying is they weren't real fitted and so short. Jordan shorts had then changed a little bit. You can kind of tell it was a little change in the fashion. But then by the time AI came, man, AI took it to a whole nother level. And then you start seeing a lot of people like them shorts, man, baggy.
Yeah. I think he would, like, I hear a lot of people talk about him as far as changing, like, the whole style of basketball and stuff like that.
Yeah, and that's it, because with that, what you think about, you talking about sports and fashion colliding.
Right.
But that was the hip-hop culture. Yeah. That was the hip-hop culture. And that's when hip-hop took off like a wildfire, bro. Like, like with the Adidas hip hop, you know what I'm saying? It's just, it was a perfect mesh and a perfect blend, and it's just like, bro, like it was stylish, bro.
It was. I think it too though. You had a lot of gravitation from the inner city out. You know what I'm saying? And like that kind of helped push the whole thing, because they bring in what they bring their skill. Well, first of all, they bring their style with them. But what made them focus on what people focused on, because they was always there, was their skill, their talent. And it's like, where are these guys coming from? They bring in the hip hop style with them, and then that's influenced the younger kids. It's like, yo, you see my man, blah blah blah, and I think that helped it too.
Yeah, it's like, it definitely, bro. It was like, man, it was a movement, bro, and it's like movements don't just happen, man, by chance. A movement that the very mention of the word movement, it tells you a flow is happening. It's a flow. And one thing about the world and life, life never sits still, man. The world never sits still. It's like, even if you just chilling, bro, the world's still moving.
100%.
And it's like, bro, and if you ain't careful, bro, it's like the flow, movement, it's multiple waves that come. It's like the ocean, bro. You out there at sea, bro. It's like, bro, it's like, man, you steady have flow happening, man. You steady have waves. And then every so often you get something known as a tidal wave.
Something
it takes you by storm.
Right.
That tidal wave.
And it has a what do you call it? Lasting effect.
Exactly. It definitely has a lasting effect. And what it is, man, it's like, bruh, like, the effects that come from that, it changes the game. It changes things. It's like things will never be the same no more. Like, like look at Katrina. It's like, man, after I'm saying look at Katrina, but look at look at over there, Louisiana and all that. After Katrina came through there, man, they're like things were never the same.
Right.
It was never the same. You can always say you'll rebuild something, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be exactly the same.
True. Now I challenge it, and this is just side talk. I don't. Is it though? Like once something comes through and change it, I think it goes back to what it just rebuilds back what it was normally doing.
Mm-mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, why you say that?
Think about this for a second. I could take you to a community, right? I could take you to a community today that may not be thriving at all. I could take you to a community that may look like it's dying today. And within that same community, by the end of the street, I tell you, now I could take you from the west side to the east side, going down one street, and I tell you, when we start off, I say, man, what you think about this here? You be like, bro, this mother look bad, man. It's like, man, it look like, bro, really and truly, this look like this. It looks like it's in ruins.
Right.
And we just follow all the way, and we go back toward the east portion of the street. By the time we get to the east portion of the street, and we just keep traveling up, I say, man, what you think now? Tell me about the street. But this don't even look like the same street. By the time we get to a certain point on the street, let's just look. And let's just say you look and it's a brand new house. Things increase. The cost to stay there increases. Property taxes increase.
Right.
So that means everybody can't live there no more.
Nah, that makes sense.
So now it changes.
I could definitely see that.
I wasn't expecting that just now.
Me neither, man.
Yeah, because we were supposed to be talking about the rules of generation, you know what I'm saying? We ain't even got to that, man. Yeah. One thing that's fascinating to me is the rule changes, man. Like the rule changes to life and how we sit there and we tell us, well, we doing this to make sure that safety is at the forefront, and we want to make sure that this doesn't happen or that doesn't happen. Like, do you think that today's generation is actually overall better, as with the different things that we've put in place for safety and rules? With rules, do you think it's actually better?
Do I think it's better? I think so, man. Like I'm an optimist, man. So like, as generations go on, I always think we move towards a better thing. Not everything we implement, definitely not. You know what I'm saying?
What about one off top? Taking up religion out of school.
Honestly, this is my personal belief. I think the morals and the values and stuff I learned from that growing up has helped me better than it's hurt me. You know what I'm saying? So I don't necessarily think it's a negative and it should be taken out. And if you don't want to participate, like they have things to where, hey, if you don't want to say under God in the Pledge of Allegiance, you don't have to say that. You don't understand things like that. So I don't think that taking it out is necessarily the right step.
In 1962, the Supreme Court held that the Establishment Clause prohibited the recitation of school-sponsored prayer in public school. This happened in 1962. I didn't know that.
Right.
All along, I was thinking that was something that happened in the 90s or something. But
what, taking religion out of school?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like with the prayer, like people was like, it's crazy. It's interesting now because like people were making a big fuss about this in the 90s. But why in the 90s? When this right here, what I just read to you, it took place in 1962.
True. I think I remember praying in school, like the principal should get on the intercom and pray right before school.
So something ain't right. So like,
what you mean though? What stumps you about that?
Well, they couldn't recite it in school.
Right. Yeah. You can recite the prayer in school,
but you can still pray in school.
Right. Same thing with guns though. Like they done had this thing with guns for years. You know what I mean? Guns or policing, things like that. It's a constant reform of it. I would say it like that. You have a generation that grew up with different, like you raising your children with those opposing views. So then when we get in place, we bring the same issues up. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if you raise your son to say, hey, we should have prayers in school. I raised my daughter not to say that. Let's just say we both our kids get in office. I'm pushing a bill to allow that. I'm pushing a bill that's not. You know what I'm saying? And then you have people in America with the same viewpoints. You know what I'm saying? Opposing viewpoints. They kids raised up now, believing the same thing, pushing that same thing. That's how I look at it.
So the first K through 12 mass shooting of the modern era occurred in 1989.
That's crazy that you brought that up though, because it occurred. Well, I wouldn't say mass shooting, but mass killing. 27. A guy drove his car full of dynamite into a school, killed like 48 kids or something like that. So the mass killing of people hasn't. I've just learned that in class like a couple of days ago. You know what I'm saying? The mass shooting, I think, the one that changed everything was the Columbine shooting.
Well, this one right here, this is the first K through 12 mass shooting of modern era. This is of the modern era. So before Columbine, this was it. This was in 1989. And it was in the schoolyard at Cleveland Elementary School in Stockton, California. So this could have been the thing that probably prompted, like I was talking about in the 90s, I kept hearing like ad nauseum, they was talking about this is what happened when you don't, when you take school, when you take religion out of school, this, that. So this is probably what, what really like drove that point. So they probably were trying to fight since then to try to get it back into the school system.
I mean, two things with that. Like, I think, I could find, if I was in office, I could find anything to push my agenda.
Of course.
Or I would say like agenda, whatever the case may be, to say that. So it could have been that. Two, I feel like, I don't know if this is where you were going with it, but I feel like there's nothing new under the sun. With technology, I think it become more prevalent. I mean, we just hear about it more. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's probably what, like, I'm pretty sure mass killing's been going on. We probably just didn't know about it and things like that.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to sweep things up under the rugs, man, when you don't have access to it worldwide.
Right. Worldwide, that's a perfect word.
Mm-hmm.
I think that really changed everything, like to where things was being televised, like things over the internet, your phone, pictures.
Like,
as it became,
it definitely played a part too, like modestly in like when you start dealing with segregation and you start dealing stuff like that. That's what kind of changed the game. When it's like, that theory of you can throw rocks and hide your hands, so to speak. So if you hearing whispers of, the South, it's bad in the South. You hearing whispers, but you not really able to hear screams and the horror and the terror that actually goes on in the South, that's one thing. But the moment that, you cut on your TV and something is made, vivid through a visual,
right,
then all of that's a game changer. Because now, when you had somebody that may have created this horror, and they can go home, they twisted enough to go home and lay their head down and function like they're a regular person. Now the moment that whoever did this horror goes home, and now his family exposed to his horror that he helped, create, now all of a sudden it changes things. Because now, well, otherwise you would have had this, this twisted sense of freedom this twisted sense of freedom because you didn't get caught, so to speak. Now all of a sudden you tormented now because your family that has a conscience. Oh my God, I wonder who could ever do something so heinous. And the heinous person sitting right there within the family.
Right. Your neighbors, people like that, people in your community know about it now.
Exactly.
I mean, that's true, man.
Like, it's no different than Emmett Till.
Right.
Like, see, that's the thing. In the North functioned one way. Like, Chicago, it functioned one way during that time period. But in the South, it was an infestation of hatred. That's the best way I could put it. An infestation of hatred. And it was on a whole nother, it was ready to reach a boiling point. And with Emmett's mother dead, that
with
was
the open casket.
That changed the narrative of history. you have to operate with a level of humbleness to do such a thing, because your pride will have to be put to the side, because in your mind, most prideful people will say, in a moment like that, most prideful people will still say, "No, we're gonna have a closed casket. Nah, that body is too, I'm not gonna show my child looking like that."
Right.
Still, it's that pride that's attached to it. She said she want the world to see what they did to her son. In the moment that happened, and that was shown across the TV, any person of color looked at that and said, "You know what? God forbid, that could have been my child."
Right.
That face, that distorted face, that became the face of a present and evident version, a traumatic version, a hatred-filled version of the United States. It functioned in a sense in which it was very much hidden from a lot of people didn't know this stuff was happening. And then when they saw that changed everything. That changed everything. It caused you to really look at yourself in a different light, especially if you call yourself an American.
I'm pretty sure, man. I feel like something like that could like electrically charge a bunch of things. You know what I'm saying? Like it could, like you said, either you got the opposing side who's like, man, you know, they changed because they don't want to be viewed as somebody who could do something like that. Change their ways for fear of how they would be viewed. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of things that something like that could do. But you said being broadcasted worldwide allows something to be what's the word I'm looking for? To be dissected.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it allows it to be dissected. And
when otherwise it would have just went right up, it would have went right beneath the cracks, man. Mm-hmm. It's just right beneath the, you know, and that's what was happening. It was happening for far too long. It would somebody and that's the thing, man. When it comes to stuff like that, man, the trailblazers, man, to play the role of a trailblazer, it's not easy, bro. It's not easy, because that means a lot of times that a person is called a trailblazer. They're called a trailblazer because of a reason. They are normally the first one to actually go through with something that's full of discomfort. You know, so if it's not comfortable, then that means it's going to be some misery, you know, some agony attached to it. It's going to be painful a lot of times, you know. But again, when you take self out of it, you become something entirely different. You know, again, that's when it becomes about a movement, when you take self out of it, because then it becomes free flowing. It's from the heart. You know, that's something that you're willing to give up. You giving up the selfish parts of self to, you know, to sacrifice for the greater good.
Right.
And that's a trailblazer. Because a lot of times a trailblazer, and a lot of times when a person decides to take up that mantle, that uncomfortable mantle, it's not even about a title at that point. Because to be real with you, a lot of times these individuals, they would love to have somebody to accompany them, but everybody else scared. Mm-hmm. So it becomes them. They're not begging, I'll take the title. They're not begging for that. But they understand, if I don't do it, we're going to still be right here in the same situation 10 years later, 20 years later, 50 years later, still crying for the same things that we being deprived of. You know what I'm saying? Still being oppressed. You know, a lot of us still being depressed. You know what I'm saying? Just, we still pressed. Hard pressed. You know? So it's like, yeah, it comes a time where you get fed up and you say, you know what? Yeah, I could keep turning my eye. I could keep turning my head, act like I don't see the wrong that's being done. But eventually, it's funny how that goes. A lot of people can turn their head and act like they don't see the wrong that's being done until it makes its way on your property.
That's very true.
You notice that though? Like, you could be in a neighborhood, bro. As long as as long as it's going on around you, you cool. Like, hey, be quiet. We let them handle that now. Then the moment something come and it breaks on your property, oh Lord, hey, I need help.
You know, this that problem then at that point.
Exactly. Now it's the bigger. You see the bigger picture,
right?
But all before, you know what I'm saying, everybody else crying, hey, I need you to come to, hey, they come to your house. Excuse me, sir, can I get you to sign this petition as well? I have no, get off my property. You know what I'm saying? Now, it's like, now you ready to spearhead something.
100%. I think it's crazy though, man, because like, hey, talking about racism is a super delicate, to me. And I want to hear your standpoint on it too. Like, for me, it's super delicate to talk about it because you don't know what history somebody comes from, right? And for me, it's like when I talk about certain topics or when I bring it up or when it's brought up, to judge somebody on how they choose to go about it, it's tough for me because you're right about what you said. You know, you can push it off to the left because it don't affect you, but then when it do affect you, that's when there's a problem. But at the same time, it comes with a lot too to take on that. You know what I'm saying?
Explain that.
Like, for instance, what's going on in Israel, right? Or when wars go on outside. It's like we could barely pay attention to that unless it's on the news. But if it's a war inside the United States, then it's an issue. You know what I'm saying?
It's because it became personal.
Right. So it's like people turn a blind eye to it. I feel like part of the reason because it comes with a lot. You know what I'm saying? But to the people that's affected by it, of course, you know what I'm saying? They got the motivation, they got the inspiration and everything.
That's because they live in it.
Right, they live in it. But for somebody to take part into maybe changing it or take part into bringing recognition or whatever the case may be, it also comes with a lot of baggage. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So something that just hit me, man. With madness, it's created one way. And the solution to madness is created another way. The one thing that both of those things share in common is that it takes recipes. It takes a recipe to get chaos. It takes a certain recipe to get peace. And when you think about this, right, the difference between finding out what the antidote to something is, to the madness or the chaos, it takes a certain element to be added into the situation that otherwise wouldn't normally be present for it to even be added into that situation. Sometimes it takes, and this is crazy where this is potentially getting ready to go. Sometimes it takes, I hate saying this, man, but sometimes it takes a greater sacrifice. Sometimes it takes a sacrifice. What do I mean by that? What do I mean by that is this here. You know, they got this saying, man, sometimes you're in the right place at the wrong time. And sometimes being in the right place at the wrong time calls for an innocent bystander to get hit. And it could be life altering, life changing. It could be, you know, that particular individual actually lost their life. And what comes from that is the antidote. The antidote to the solution behind the madness, behind the chaos. Sometimes that's when love actually finds a way into the cracks and it starts to turn the situation. Now, you might ask me, brother, you might say, well, how does that happen? Because wouldn't it, like, logically, wouldn't that just add for more anger, more, you know, hostility? But in some cases, that's when people get fed up. They get fed up and they say, you know what? Look, the madness, you know, the foolishness, all of that, how things have been going before. We've been exposed to this for far too long. Far too long. So what? You know, the east side, the west side had a grudge with each other for, you know, for however long. Are we gonna just continue to just sit up there and we're gonna kill each other until it's none of us left? Or are we gonna come on and come together and we're gonna make something of this? Now understand that no matter what, we still need both to coexist. Because all we doing is we eliminating everything in between, which might have consisted of a mom's and pop shop. Now we setting our own community ablaze. It takes stuff like,
oh yeah, 100%.
It's crazy, but that's
I definitely agree with that.
It's crazy, bro. Like and I not like as I say that and just think about it. It's like I could visualize this stuff. You like, why does it take stuff like this? Because we become blind to the madness, blind to our own anger. A person that functions under anger, they're blind. All they see is the momentary desires of their rotten heart. That's all they see.
100%, bro. I definitely agree with that. That's a super true statement.
Because you know what's crazy? Now take that same individual, lock his behind up, and now throw a life sentence on it. And now as he's sitting there, now all of us, but my life thrown away. But I didn't mean to do this. Look, I would never.
100%, bro.
So that means, again, like we talked about this before, man. If you just would have thought before you reacted, just think. Just think. Is it worth it? Bro, like, now, wow, now that's powerful. Is it worth it? If we take the moment to ask ourselves that, man, even if we're in a relationship, even if we, you know, even if we, before we lay down with, you know, with someone, is it worth it?
Bro, we talked about this earlier today, man. Like, you know, what is it? What is this thing? What are we doing it for? Like, what's the purpose of this thing that we getting, that we trying to achieve for? Like, what purpose does it serve? As you said, and if you feel like elaborating on it, you said we never think about the end goal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we never, man. It's like we do so many things, bro. We are definitely spontaneous creatures when you think about it, bro. We'd do something on the spur of the moment, or just because Simon said do it, we'd do it.
Right.
And then turn around and I don't know no Simon, but then, you know what I'm saying? They say throw your hands in the air and wave them like you just don't care. We doing it.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? We got on somebody's job and we decided the reason we was getting on this job is because somebody told me that, man, they pay a lot of money. First of all, you ain't never even asked what you gonna be doing, first of all, before you even got on the job. The money moves you immediately. You made a money move.
Right.
But that was, just because you make a money move doesn't necessarily deem it to be a successful move or the move that's in your best interest. A money move doesn't necessarily mean that you know,
bro, you're
gonna get peace.
That's facts.
Because again, oftentimes, bro, before we even familiarize ourselves with what the job title is, the first thing that caught us was, boy, that's a good paying job. Word. Hey man, what the application where I can sign up at?
That's 100%.
Then all of a sudden, man, you get on the interview process, the whole time all you thinking about is the money. Then they sit up there and they tell you what you're gonna be doing. Okay, you think you could do that? Are you afraid of heights? Wait a minute, heights? Like how we talking? They tell you you're gonna be up in the air. You're like, yo, like, still, you how tall? Just walk with me. Okay, but you gonna tell me how up we gonna be? Then all of a sudden you walking, you know, it's a bright sunny day, and then all of a sudden, man, you notice that it's a bunch of shade all of a sudden. Yeah, but I'm still trying to figure out how. Well, buddy, right here, the shade, just look up. Now you looking up, bro, it's a big tower up there. And that's why I shade, because the tower is blocking the sun. Bro, you gonna be up there. You think you can handle that?
Yeah, you reconsidering.
How much money you said we gonna be making? Brother gonna do it. He's still gonna he gonna chance it and he gonna do it. That brother was me one time, man. I'm speaking to myself right now.
Shoot.
I'm speaking to myself. I did it, bruh.
Climbed up there and everything.
Bruh. One day, bruh, the man lift stopped working. The man lift is an elevator. That mug stopped working, bruh, and it was a silo. I was working on top of the silo. So man, you got to climb. Like each section has a ladder, and it's on the outside of the silo. So you climbing, bro. It was like my body locked up. I was clenched, just trying to climb, bro, the whole time, bro. And the higher up, I don't know what it is, bro. The higher up you get, bro, the atmosphere, you could tell when the atmosphere changed, because for whatever reason, it seemed like it always get cooler when you go up, bro. That wind hit the back of your neck and you climbing. I'm to my bro, look here, man. Look, your butt cheeks get tight, everything, bro. You just lock up, bro. You just
not looking down,
but you don't want to. You look down, you done for. You're done for because you're not gonna want to take another step. You're not gonna want to take another step, bro. So, like that day, man, that the man lift got, it was. I don't know what was wrong with it, but it wasn't working. It wasn't functional. Man, I'm telling you, bro. I finally had made it to the top, man, from like one section, it was one section on the outside. Then it was inside, two. I think it was 3 sections. I made it to the top. Man, I got to the top, bro. And I don't know, like I function like this. I know I was terrified. I was terrified, dog. Immediately I got to the top, and like my body, my very first time, hold on, I'm gonna tell you about the ladder. My very first time taking a man lift to get up there, and when I got on top of the silo, I remember I climbed outside of the man lift, and immediately, bro, my legs, man, I'm looking at Savannah. Damn. It's like I'm gonna tell you exactly where this place is. Where we were located at, bro, on top of the silo, it looked like I was looking off in the far right, and I could see the Savannah Bridge. And it looked like I was about the same level with the Savannah Bridge.
Dude.
I'm looking at it, and then all of a sudden, my legs almost turned to jelly, dog.
Ah, bro.
I turned around, and normally the first thing I thought, don't look down. But I was like, I need to conquer this fear. I'm looking at trees. Trees don't even look big no more. I'm like, bro, when the trees don't look big, man, what are we doing here? You know what I'm saying? Man, so I said, I need to conquer this fear. So I said, I'm gonna look down. I looked down, man, and it was a clump of clay. Cause where I was working at, we dealt with clay. So I took a piece of this clay, like this clay ball, and I took it and I let it drop.
The count? Were you counting to see how long?
Man, no, I ain't. No, I just waited to see. Man, that thing was as it was falling. It's like the clay ball looked like it was breaking up in the air.
Dang, dude.
Man, but then it was still enough of it to when it hit the ground, bro. It's like it shattered. Like I'm talking about that thing, like it turned to dust. I said, yeah, I'm up real far. So I'm like, bro, like, yeah, it was a different experience, man. Like they tell us all kind of like horror stories and stuff, man. They talking about, man, dude, man, they said, man, up there, cause at night, like we had swing shifts, so like sometimes we had to work like the graveyard shift. Man, that was scary too. Being up there at night, bro.
Bro, I can imagine. The wind pick up at night too.
But what, bro?
Yeah.
You act like you hadn't been up there.
Oh man, I already know.
Man, look, I was up there one night.
If I say that, I'm good.
Man, look,
I'm straight.
I was up there, man, one night, and this was the night, man. Them boys wanted to tell me the story of Old Man Demery. Say, man, it's been said, man, up there at the top, man. You go up there, man, and you know. It's like, you go inside you got to go up there on top of the silo, but it's like
a platform.
It's a platform that'll get you over. Like the best way I can describe this to you, man, it's like it almost looked like a long trailer You got to go inside to like, you sitting up there, bro. It's like you dealing with this clay and stuff like that. So I remember I was inside of what appeared like it looked like a long trailer. I was inside of this long trailer, building, whatever. So I remember, bro, I'm talking about, man, this clay get to turning and stuff like that, man. So it's like, man, it create like all this, like it's just like you can't see nothing, bro. Like you can't see because it's so thick and it's inside of this like
it's contained.
Yeah, man, it's like open up the doors. You got to try to let some of that stuff out, but it's like, man. So I got to looking, man, and it's like I saw something like all the way at the end. It was just me up there. I got my walkie and I'm looking. I'm like, yo, boy, that looked like something moving back there. And they then told us the story of old man Demery. He said, man, the man's spirit, on the man's spirit, it said that you get to walking up there, man, you'll see like he'll still be walking around up there on top of the.
Bro, that's the wrong thing to tell me, bro.
Bro, it was crazy, dog. It was, bro, real talk. I don't even know how we got. But that thing, it was different, bro. It was different. That thing make a man out you, though, bro.
I can imagine.
You talking about working out and all that, bro. Sometimes, bro, we ain't had no work to do. So, like, that stuff, man, we had all kind of issues up there sometime, man. That stuff will overflow. Then it had cracks in the roof, so the water come down. And then when it hit the clay, it hardens up. And it's like, bro, we ain't had nothing to do. So we had to go up there and we had to clean the inside of the, Bro, we in there, man, with shovels. Bro, you just trying to knock it out, bro. And it's like, bro, you using that shovel, man, you digging up that hard clay. It's like, bro, you talking about lifting weights. You want to work out, go and do that. You know what I'm saying? Do that.
Bro,
yeah.
I'm good. I'm straight.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I
man.
live vicariously through you.
Trust me. It just brought back memory. I think I'm traumatized.
Crazy, bro. Where we at, man?
So I got, okay.
We hit one more, then we can lock it down.
Okay. I talked to you like vehicular fatalities, like just keeping it on that point that what we were talking about, man, with like the the past and the present, the rules and stuff like that. So do you think like do you think we had more vehicular homicides when the cars were built the way they were built before, like the actual models and the body types of the cars changed, or do you think that we have more vehicular fatalities now?
Probably back then, just for the fact that like I seen a crash of a new car and an old car, and it's like
that ain't need no crash, bro.
Yeah,
one of them just getting messed up.
Man, I'm like, yeesh.
That's
you know
paper.
What I'm saying? So it's like, why the cars lasted longer and they was harder. You know what I mean? I don't know about a car that both of those cars hitting each other, like a 1980s hard car versus the same car. I don't know how that'll work out, but I don't think it was as safe. You know what I'm saying?
You're right, because you think about that too. A man being you think about it. If a man is inside of a steel box,
mm-hmm.
and another man is inside a steel box, and you just 100 miles per hour, both steel boxes just flying into each other.
You know what I'm saying? And they was making them just as fast. You know what I'm saying? Like they was still going 100 miles an hour. They still had big speedometers. So it's like, you hit something like that hard. You feel me? Now a little smaller tap, 30 miles an hour, maybe less, 25 or less is but what I learned was the velocity kills you. It's not even a crash. You know what I'm saying? It's just like the impact itself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, the faster you go, bro.
I was like, dang, I thought the whole crash, like your body getting knocked around killed you.
Because if you get, you think about it, man, if you have two cars going 40 miles per hour, and that's still fast when you think about it compared to what a human can run. But if you go to two cars going 40 miles per hour and they hit one another versus a car that's going 120 miles per hour and the other car might be doing about 90
mm-hmm.
or 80. Man, look here. That right there.
Oh, yeah. Both of them probably gone.
Man, look here. Juice.
That ain't funny, bro, but it's funny. I know exactly what you're talking about. Man, but It's late, bro. That's why. That's why. Hey, bro.
Boy, you got 2 cans, boy, of juice, man. that what it's
With
gonna
the top
be.
off?
Stone Cold Teapots. Boy, you fool.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
And that's what it's gonna be called, Stone Cold.
That was so accurate. Oh, bro. You
Boy.
a fool, man.
Man, you got me, man. I got the I probably shouldn't even be looking this up, but I'm curious.
Oh, bro, I could imagine.
Oh man.
And you know, the new Hellcat jailbreak, they came out with a Hellcat jailbreak. You can't even get a warranty on it. Like, even if you drive it off a lot or whatever, because it goes so fast.
What? How fast do it go?
It's 200 on a dash.
But on that note, brother, you going to take us
man.
out.
Yeah, man. We had a lot of fun on this podcast, man.
Too much fun.
Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you thought it was entertaining. Like, share, comment, tell a friend, tell a family member, man, that this is the Real Talk Podcast. Peace.
Real talk.
We appreciate you giving us a listen. If you like this episode and would like to engage with us or support, reach out through our social media platforms, linked in the description, and tune in every Thursday to check out new episodes. See you next week.